All right, everybody, welcome back to the Rotten Rewind. Today, we're going to go over a couple of topics. We're going to review The Substance. We're going to dive into the classic New York gritty film, Basket Case, and an interview with a legend, the legend himself, Insane Poetry. I am your host, Enokh Xmortiz, and my co-host,
Ill Fortune, and this is the Rotten Rewind, episode number 8. All right, so we are going to review a movie that has just come out recently in the last couple months, and that is The Substance. Now, people are eating this shit up. People are loving it. From what I've heard, I don't think I've heard anybody that really hated this movie exactly. I know when my buddy saw it, he messaged me right away. He's like, you got to go see this in the theaters, like ASAP right now. It's so good. And then I missed it and waited like a month and just watched it last week, and I watched it twice. So, I mean, like, it was that good where I could watch it, like, 2 days in a row, back to back, and not be like, this is fucking boring, you know? So, yeah, we're going to offer a little bit of a spoiler-free review here, and then we're going to go into, as usual, a spoiled review and just let you guys know all the gritty details of this movie. So, Enokh, you got anything to say before we start spoiling shit?
Oh, yeah. This movie is a very stylistic film. There's a lot of really cool shots in this movie that if you're just a fan of cinema in general, then you can appreciate just the bare bones of the way it's filmed.
Yeah, I would say it's very artsy. Very, everything about it seemed deliberate, very intentional, from the angles they chose to the color schemes and the outfits and the set design. Everything felt very, very intentional for an artistic reason.
Oh yeah, for sure. Everything had its place.
Yeah, they definitely paid a lot of attention to detail in this one. I really didn't have anything too bad to say about it. I mean, we'll get into all that, but I appreciated it for what it was at the start, but then what it ended up turning into by the end of it, I was like, it caught me off guard. I didn't expect it to go the distance that it went, if you kind of feel what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, definitely, 100%. Well, leading off of that, let's dive into the spoil-free review. What was your takeaway?
I think it was a nod to 80s horror, which I didn't expect. Because in the beginning, like I'd say the first half of the movie, it reminds me of a very modern day, elevated horror type of film. You know, it kind of reminds me like Smile, you know, that kind of vibe, I guess.
Yes,
but then,
I see that.
Yeah, then the second half, it takes a whole U-turn. It kind of drives itself more to 80s horror. It's like, okay, we don't take ourselves as seriously now. The first half, it was like really serious. The tone was serious. And then by the second half, they're like, all right, fuck it. Wheels are off. Let's just fucking go crazy.
Yeah, all right. So, see, my takeaway is I think that the second half continued with the seriousness. I think that is a great reflection of society's standard of beauty, trying to keep up with popularity, the way women are viewed and treated throughout Hollywood, and how usable they are in chasing after being better than what you are and present. It has all these layers that we can dive into it when we start spoiling it. But man, what a great film. I love films that use horror in a way to reflect of society's viewpoints. You know, I was very impressed by that.
Without pushing a message necessarily, like delivering a message without feeling like it's shoving it down your throat, right? It's almost more like
the message is never. Yeah, the message is never even actually said. You know what I'm saying? If you could watch the movie and not even pick up on it if you weren't keen to the way filmmakers use, subliminal messaging inside the movie.
And if you're going to do it in a way where it is subliminal and you can't really pick up on it, or if you do, it's one of those things where it's like, I see what you're doing there.
Exactly.
Not just being right on the nose with it and being like, fuck guns, gun violence is terrible and shit like that. Because that's
it's
just
very, very smart way to do it. Like it doesn't take much intellect or ability to just tell you what I want to tell you. But if I can tell you what I want to tell you without ever saying it, that's a skill.
Yeah.
And this movie has that.
And it goes back to what I said about being very detailed and intentional. Like every freaking line in that movie was delivered for a purpose. There was no filler. Everything, was spot on. And my first watch through, I kind of felt like it dragged a little bit. Like in the middle, I thought it could have sped up a little bit. But on my second watch through, I was like, oh, the pacing is actually really good. Like I was actually looking for scenes that I could be like, oh, they could cut this or that, But as I watched it, I was like, everything has a reason and a driving purpose for it. So it's like they couldn't have cut anything. And the pacing actually was as fast as they could have did it, I think. I don't know how they could have gone quicker. And it was still like a 2-hour movie,
Yeah, shout out to the director. She did another movie in 2017 called Revenge, which is like an I Spit on Your Grave style movie. Pretty good, actually. If you've never seen it, check it out. So I think that was her like first main film, and I think this is number 2 for her, and she's off to a great start.
I didn't even know that it was directed by a woman. I was gonna look into who directed it. Yeah, she did a great job.
Yes, 100%, which makes the messaging of the movie even more profound.
Warning.
I like the
Warning.
The beginning is foreshadowing the ending with that Hollywood star. I love that whole thing. That was really cool how they brought that back around. But just, what it really reminded me of? Like so my favorite part of the movie is probably the scene at the end where just the grotesque fucking monster version of her is on the stage and she like gives birth to her tit or whatever, like her tit flops out.
I think he's spoiling it.
We're in the spoiled section, aren't we?
I don't know. I guess we are now.
Well, we're in the spoiled section now. If we didn't already announce that, I'll put a thing. But yeah, man, I love that fucking scene. That is my favorite part. Like, so that reminded me of Dead Alive a lot.
Oh,
It instantly reminded me of the big mother at the end of Dead Alive, know?
Yes. Screaming Lionel. Yeah, 100%. So, like you going back to that star, that Hollywood star. Now, see, like that foreshadowing, it literally starts with that star and it ends with that star. And, the message there is pretty much no matter all the shit that she went through was fucking pointless because the star's still cracked, the star's still there. It had nothing. No effect on it. So it's like chasing this unreachable goal. And that's poetry, and I loved it. I thought that was a genius way to start and end the movie. But yeah, I love the special effects, the creature, all that. Like when she first got deformed and that leg is all fucked up. Beautiful.
Yeah. A lot of really good practical effects in this movie, and it was another pretty big release. Like it was in theaters. I don't know how long the run was, but it was in a lot of theaters, around the country. So I mean, the fact that they're doing more, I don't know, practical effects and just things that are reminiscent of 80s horror and the stuff that we grew up with and love, it's really cool to see that coming back. I have a very bold statement that I gotta make. I think that we are living in the second best decade for horror right now. I think the 2020s is the second best decade for horror, right next to the 80s. I know that's a bold statement, but there's been a lot of good movies. We're only 4 years in, and we've had a lot of like really good horror movies come out these last 4 years. More than I think. We've had more the last 4 years than we did like the last 15 or 20 prior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that a lot of filmmakers are starting to realize that playing it safe, making another teen thriller movie just isn't what people want anymore, and they're willing to take the risks. And I think that young, eager filmmaker, for example, the director of this, she's French, I believe, so that makes a lot of sense that she's pushing that, French Martyrs, Inside, the French know how to make a good psychological horror movie, and I don't know what it is in the water over there, but they have it. So I'm 100% in support of this director and where she's going.
Yeah, and speaking of French, we got to talk about Mads. Maybe on the next episode, we'll talk about the new movie Mads, probably. I won't get off on that right now, but that's a great French horror that came out. I don't know if you knew that one was French, but it was phenomenal.
Nope. Yep, that's on my list, so next one.
Yeah, but anyways, back to this one. Couple like small things that I liked that were kind of like a nod to other horror movies was the carpet in the studio, going down the hall. It reminded me of The Shining.
100%. The hallway shots were definitely Kubrick inspired.
Yep.
100%.
There was a lot of leading line shots, you know, where you got like a very narrow passage in the center frame, you know. There was a lot of shots like that, like even like down to the bathroom, and it's like frame in a frame. Very artistic choices. Loved it. I don't know, just there was a lot of good things to say about it.
My favorite scene in that movie was at the end when she's on the stage. Now, she is spraying blood all over the crowd, you know, as symbolizing that the blood is on the hands of all these Hollywood executives and the people who indulge themselves in that. The fans, the people who throw away somebody when they get older. They don't look as good as they did. And and symbolizing her blood being spilled all over them, showing that she did all of this to get their acceptance and to be in their praise and to get loved by all these people again like she once was before she was thrown to the side. That she put herself through all this fucked up shit, and at the end, what they caused her to do and what they created from her, they rejected and called her a monster. It's like, it's poetic, you know, it's like, fuck. And that's a good reflection on a lot of people today with social media. You know, they use filters for everything. And you sit there and you go, you know, who's really living? Who's really living? Is it you or is it Sue? You know? And I thought that was just fucking a genius move. It's so good. That was
extremely well put, and I didn't even really look into it that deep. I love that you picked up on all of that just from one watch on it. You know, I watched it twice, and I didn't pick up on a lot of that stuff. Like I did pick up on a lot of the metaphors and subliminal messaging, but I definitely didn't take it that far. I just saw the blood going everywhere and everybody getting covered, and I was like, yes, as a horror fan, I was like, this is what I love, this is what I live for. And we don't get enough of that anymore. And it took me back to like Dead Alive again. You know, that's that.
100%. Yeah, it was great because it takes us back to that place, but it also has this fucking insanely deep message in it. And yeah, it's hard to find movies that you can get both of those things in.
Yeah, dude, I loved the fight scene where the two halves come together. They're both conscious, and they just go at it in the younger version. I don't know what the fuck she was on. Maybe like the substance gave her some extra strength. Cause she
Thank you. That was my... Whew. That was on my list of things that made me go, what the fuck? How did she have super strength? She's kicking her fucking 13 feet across the room.
Yeah, I was like, that's a little over the top. Come on.
Yeah, that was the one thing in that movie where I was like,
Takes you out of it a little bit, you know? Because as unrealistic as the movie is, it feels grounded where it is still realistic. Like, it feels like it could happen, you know?
Oh, yeah, especially moving into a new era, you know? Like, how long is it before something like that is a possibility? Who knows?
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. I love the whole backburster scene. I've seen a lot of people drawing comparisons from that to, like, Alien Covenant, because there was a backburster scene in there with the new xenomorph. So people were saying that was supposed to be a nod. I don't think it was a nod. I think they were just doing their own thing. I mean, how else would you come out of a body? You gonna come out the front? That'd be a lot harder to pull off than coming out the back.
Yeah, I think 100% that if it is taking anything from anywhere else, that it has to be coming from David Cronenberg.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
My entire experience through this movie was, holy fuck, is this person related to David Cronenberg?
I was gonna look that up, yeah.
Man, it just has that same exact body horror and that artistic view that Cronenberg's known for, you know? And that was my first thought. Is this some Cronenberg shit going on? So, yeah, I think that's where a lot of the inspiration came from. Or you could go John Carpenter's The Thing. You know, it's Cronenberg and Carpenter kind of cross over.
Yeah, very true. You know what's funny is that this movie actually draws a lot of comparisons with Basket Case, now that I think about it. Because they're both body horror. They both kind of have, there's two people that are kind of two of the same whole that were separated, and it's about them coexisting with each other. Very similar. I just realized that. Like,
one is perfect. One is high class and one is very, very lowbrow.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So what score would you give it on the rotten scale out of 5?
Ooh, dude, I'm gonna go 4.5.
I got to agree. I got to agree with that. I don't want to give it a 4. I think it almost deserves a 5, but I feel like It just maybe, you almost don't want to give somebody a perfect score because there's always room for improvement, you know?
Yeah. The reason why I give it a 4.5 is just because of that super strength scene. It made no sense. Kind of took me out of the film.
Yeah.
And I felt like some of the scenes just dragged on a little bit longer than they needed to. But besides that, I think that it was fucking perfect. I mean, the locations were amazing. The wardrobes were fucking insane.
Let's talk about this. The fact that it feels like an 80s movie beyond the gore and practical effects horror side of it, the setting of it feels like it's an 80s movie. I mean, the main character is like a dance instructor, aerobics dance instructor. She dresses like she's from the 80s, you know, and she's a star from the 80s. But me and my wife were questioning while we were watching it, like, what is the setting of this movie? Does it take place in the 80s or is it modern time? And then we see her TV, it's like a flat screen. We're like, okay, it must be modern time. But there's not very many modern day indicators in the film that make you go, oh yeah, this is like nowadays. It's kind of vague.
Besides, like, there's a guy on a crotch rocket. I think that, the TV and the crotch rocket kind of set the era. But one of my favorite things though is when she pulls that fucking piece of chicken out of her belly button. And then the belly button just sucks back together. Wow. That was fucking great.
Yeah, a lot of unexpected scenes. You know, at first I was getting mad because for the first half of the movie, all we were getting was like the best scenes that we were getting were dream sequences, right? So like the chicken scene you just talked about, or the part where her leather suit gets unzipped and then all the guts fall out the bag. You know, up to that point I was like, oh, that's the coolest shit we've seen. But then it turns out to be a dream, and I'm like, motherfuckers, that wasn't even real. But then it gets really crazy after the fact, and you're like, okay, I can forgive it. I see why they did it. It was each one having a dream about what the other one was doing to them, you know?
Yep, exactly.
So it all makes sense. I thought it was hilarious that she had a billboard of herself right outside her fucking window, and it looked like it didn't even face like any highways or anything. It just looked like it was there for her.
Yeah, it faced her. So good. But yeah, 4.5, The Substance. Go check that out. All right, now we're gonna go to 1980s New York. Gritty, dirty, fuzzy film. We're gonna dive right into the one, the only Basket Case.
Yes, I fucking love this movie. It is, like he said, gritty, grimy. It shows Times Square in all of its shadiness back in 1982. You know, it really, I think, is one of the best representations of gritty New York in an 80s movie out of like any movie, you know?
Yes. Frank Henenlotter, the director, he has this very New York bound style of filmmaking. Like, all of his movies have this real gritty, rough feel to them, and I fucking love it. You know, minus the sequels to Basket Case, of course, but the original Basket Case is timeless. It's a horror comedy, and yeah, it's fucking great.
Low budget too, very low budget. I mean, $35,000, which
35,000.
I know that 35,000 is not a lot for a movie. But when I hear that and you think about it, like, especially in terms of like 1982, 35,000 is like $200,000 nowadays. You know, I don't know the exact scale.
Oh yeah, it's probably about that, yeah.
Which, you know, still seems like a good starting amount of money, you know, like as an independent filmmaker, you can do some crazy shit for, well, $100,000 even nowadays. So, but yeah, it is cool how they were able to do it. I think the reason it has such a home movie look to it is because they shot the whole thing on a 16mm lens. So the whole thing was done on a wide angle lens, like the entire thing. So it definitely kind of comes off like a home movie style thing in a way.
Definitely. So for those of you who haven't seen Basket Case is about a guy who carries around a basket. Everybody wants to know what's inside the damn basket. Everybody wants to know, right? Well, when he was a child, he had a Siamese twin attached to him, and they decided to separate them, take the Siamese twin, put him in a goddamn garbage bag, and throw him away. Pretty fucked up, right? I mean, it's a deformed child. Well, anyways, the brother has a psychic connection and decides, you know, to save his brother. And they grow up, become adults, and come up with this plan. Belial the little deformed half of him, can speak to his brother telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
They come up with a plan to exact their revenge and kill all the doctors who separated them.
Yeah, my interpretation is that Belial was like the one kind of like pushing him towards it. It almost seemed like maybe not at first, but it seemed like the main guy kind of wanted to just live his normal life in New York and shit and get by.
Oh, yes.
Belial's like, we got to do this. We got to kill these motherfuckers. We need revenge,
Yeah, that's exactly it, because Belial's entire viewpoint of the outside world, of the real world, is that he's a monster. They try to kill him from birth. Everybody hates him. The one person who does love him keeps him locked and hidden away in a basket. So his entire viewpoint of every other person in this world is that they see him as some kind of fucking freak. And of course, so he has animosity towards them. So
and
his
rightfully
brother,
so.
his brother, is just trying to live life. He even gets a girlfriend, a little freaky dickhead. But old Belial don't like that one bit. So...
Funny thing about the girlfriend, she was wearing a wig in that whole movie because she has a shaved head. Apparently she's in a punk band outside of the film. And you can kind of, now if you look back, you'll be able to tell that she's wearing a wig.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I did not know that. That's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun little tidbits about that film. First off, before we even get into that, the kill scenes in it are top-notch, practical effects, cheesy 80s horror. It even has stop motion in it, some of the worst stop motion I've seen, but it lends itself to the low budgetness of the film, so it really works, Yeah,
it's I love the puppet, it's stop motion and puppetry. The Belial puppet itself is not good. It's not very good, but it's great at the same time. It's one of them things that if they made a life-size one, I'd have it. No doubt about it.
I like the version of Belial when he was younger. Like during the scene where they're doing the operation and they get separated with their kids and shit. Belial looked a little different. I liked it, and I think that's because they had a different special effects guy do that. The original guy that worked on the film, like halfway through it or something, he had to back out, go work on something that was paying him, and so they got a different guy in there, and he did that version, that flashback version. But what's cool is that he went on to then create the look for Joker in The Dark Knight.
Oh wow, yeah, that's cool as shit.
From basket case to Batman.
Basket case to Batman. Holy shit. Yeah, Frank Henenlotter was a visionary ahead of his time. A lot of his movies are really, really low budget. Not many people know about him outside of true horror fans.
You got Brain Damage, Frankenhooker.
Brain Damage and Frankenhooker are fucking genius. Brain Damage is a great partnering film with Basket Case. They have the same exact feel, the same exact setting. If you want to know what 80s New York was, watch those two movies.
I don't remember much about Brain Damage, but I'm pretty sure that the guy who's the main guy in Basket Case is in that movie too, with a basket.
Oh shit, maybe. That'd be fucking hilarious.
I gotta rewatch it. It's been so long.
Yeah, me too.
Frankenhooker though, that one, I watch that at least a couple times a year. Frankenhooker's fucking awesome.
Super crack.
Yeah. What's also cool about Frank, what's his last name?
Henenlotter.
Yeah, he did the stop motion for Basket Case himself.
Oh hell yeah, that's even better.
There's like an interview where he's like, I got no patience. That's why it looks like shit. It's like I just didn't want to sit there forever doing it.
Yeah, it's great though, and it spawned 2 sequels, right? So if you haven't seen the sequels, I know Ill Fortune hasn't.
Nope.
Go watch those sequels. The second one is so good. The second one, they go into an orphanage, and it's all people like Belial who have deformities, who were abandoned.
That sounds really good.
They push the special effects and creature makeup to the fullest extent. There are some amazing fucking freaks in that movie.
Might have to check that out tonight. That sounds really good.
It is. It's really good. And then the third one, Belial finds a woman, and they have their own brood.
Is she messed up too?
Oh yeah. It's pretty much like Belial in a wig and lipstick. Fucking hilarious, dude. And yeah, it shows it too. They get it full on.
Oh god.
Oh god. Yeah, it's something. Then they have a bunch of little Belials. So go watch all 3 of these movies. They are a fucking trip.
Did you know that at the end of the first one with the credits that most of those names are fake names?
What, they just made up the names?
Yeah, because they did it with such a small crew of people that they felt it would look more professional if they just had a bunch of names instead of having the same names over and over again. So like most of them are just made up shit. But that's the thing, it's very innovative guerrilla filmmaking at its finest, and it goes to show that you can really make something if you got your mind set to it. Because this guy wasn't like someone who made movies at the time. Like he just wanted to make a movie. And he did it. You know, they didn't have permits for most of the shit they shot in New York.
Oh, hell no. You can tell. You know, a lot of the scenes are him, the director, just riding in a car, filming the guy walking down New York.
Yeah, the scene where he's running naked, full frontal, that one, they had no permit for that. They're just running down like a public street for that shit. Not closed off or anything.
Yep. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Get up and go fucking make art.
And the other cool thing is they didn't have the funding right away. They kind of secured it as they went. You know, they would make a little bit, show it to investors or show it to people, get a little bit more funding, make some more. And that's kind of how they went about it. It took them like over a year just making it in small increments. What's also funny is that the money used in that, you know how the main character has a bunch of money? He has like a wad of cash the whole time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's some of the budget money. So that was all real cash from their budget that they were using.
That's fucking great.
I'm sure some of that went missing.
Oh, yeah. You know how that happens.
Yeah, all the extras are taking a couple hundreds.
Yep, I love when movies do that, you know, where they shoot a little bit and then I'm so close to being done and get a little bit more money. Oh, I'm so close to being done. You know, Trey Parker, Matt Stone did that with Cannibal the Musical. And I swear, movies that do that always tend to have some of the best results, at least in my opinion. I fucking love them.
Yeah. You know, Basket Case, great movie. I would say if you love that whole city vibe, that grimy horror style, and you've never seen this is one you got to go check out immediately. Because it's like in the top like 5 probably of like New York horror gritty films, you know?
Yeah.
Right there with like Candyman and like we said, Frankenhooker and shit. But
Driller Killer.
What's that now?
Oh, you never seen Driller Killer?
No.
Oh, yeah, definitely look up Driller Killer. It's one of them really obscure kind of horror films, like a man, like Maniac, man's insane, killing people with a drill.
I've seen several movies with killers that use a drill, like obviously Slumber Party Massacre had a drill.
Yeah, no, it's just called Driller Killer. Check it out. It has that same exact feel. The same exact feel as those movies.
I may have seen it because I'm thinking of a movie that's not Slumber Party Massacre, similar to what you're explaining, but I don't remember it taking place in New York. Unless maybe it was a sequel or something. Who knows? Anyways, Basket Case. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Tubi, you know, the holy platform of horror. Go check it out.
Fuck yeah, we need to get Tubi sponsorship. Let's go, Tubi, come on. All right, we are back at the Rotten Rewind with a very special guest, the one and only Insane Poetry.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
We're doing great, brother. How are you?
I'm living, bro. You know, we're in a lab working, you know, so it's great to be able to be a part of your show, bro.
Yeah, we appreciate having you, bro. You know, that's a brotherhood right there, man. It's all love.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a dope hat. I just noticed that with the butcher knife in the middle. Is that a ski mask too, or?
Yeah, that's a ski.
Hey, hell yeah, that's fucking tight. That's fresh.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. I had to do it. But no, at the same time, I really do appreciate being able. We've been trying to put this together so we can actually sit down and talk for a little bit. And
yes.
This is the right time, so that is great, man. So salute to you guys and salute to what you're doing, man. Let's run it up.
Appreciate you. Fortunately, you want to start off with a question?
Yeah, let's get just baseline with it. Just to kind of get a general feel of where you're at with horror. I want to know something first off. Would you say that you're more of a hip hop head that loves horror, or a horror head that loves hip hop?
Wow.
That's a drink champs question where you might have.
I was just talking with Olazili Lou about that the other day, and we're like, yeah, we're more like horror heads that just love hip hop, you know? And like, it used to be different.
It's so crazy, bro, because I've been around like hip hop forever. You know, it's the holy grail for me. You know, I'm not rap. Hip hop, holy grail for me. Rap, I don't shit on anybody who do rap. I just don't. I understand what what that does, but for hip hop, it's the holy grail for me. So, horror is kind of like my parents. The first time I got exposed to anything horror ever, it took me to a drive-in to watch The Exorcist. And I had on like, you know, when you're a baby, you got the onesie on with the slick shit at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? They're straight up, real shit, Compton, California. If anybody knew when the drive-ins was out, back then, that's what it was. I mean, I went to go see The Exorcist, Linda Blair, straight up, facts. And you know, and I think, I don't know if it, you know, my brother, how he received it, but for me, it was just like, I tapped in. I had no idea years later my mother was really into horror shit like that, like from way even back in
That's
her
the
days.
influencer in your life,
That's
is your
fucking
mother?
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom, OG. And then my grandmother, before she passed away, her hair looked like mine. Her hair was like up outside like this, and she takes a picture with a whole ass butcher knife. I want to use it as an album cover, but my mom won't let me.
Yeah.
That would be fresh. Hell yeah.
Yes.
You've
I
got
sure
to.
will. She just won't let me.
Oh, shit. It'd get
That would
great.
be awesome.
It would be awesome as fuck, bro. Super, like American Psycho to a different level. Like,
Yeah.
fuck out of here. That shit is that would be the most, when I seen it, I was like, could be the most, like the way I look at West Side Gun, how he do his visuals to his records. It's all artistry, it's masterful artistry of the fuckery you gonna listen to.
Yeah,
You still
yeah.
know.
Perfect
It's still gonna be-
representation.
But just how the artistry of it is beautiful. It's beautifully great. And that's what I thought when I looked at that, what I do, and you know, what culminates the type of shit I do. I'm like, Mom, one day I'm snatching that motherfucker. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
No, I love that.
yeah.
And
Negotiate.
I've never been to a drive-in theater. They were shut down before my time. And the fact that you got to see The Exorcist nonetheless in a drive-in.
Yeah. OG shit.
It's amazing.
Classic.
That and the Omen. Original.
Ooh, let's go back
Original.
to back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So rolling in, what's your favorite horror icon? Who's the one for you?
Crazy. It would have to be. It's gonna. I like every different era of, you know, the differences of the eras and shit. You had your Mike Myers, your Freddy's, and all these different type of dudes. But to me, it's Jason.
Jason,
I just
yeah.
like coming. I don't know what it is. The psycho hockey, that shit to me is what it is. Most people would say Michael Myers for me, and that's like a and 1B for me, you know. So they very kind of clash
I'm a
depending on my
Jason
mood.
fan. I'm a
Yeah,
Jason.
bro.
I get it. I understand it. I don't know exactly what it is, but I love it. You know?
Yeah, I love it, bro.
You know?
And it was like, it was so, like these movies were made to be, you know, like the way they was made, you know, like, you know, the campy horror movies,
Love
you
them.
know, and these weren't campy, but they kind of borderline at the first, and they still start getting better, you know,
Yep.
kind of like Evil Dead. Sam, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Evil
yes.
Dead. Okay. Let me say something. I don't even. Evil Dead. I had to say this. Evil Dead. You know, the series and shit like that. Those were cool. And then, but the remake of the first Evil Dead, I cannot lie. I think 2021. I ain't gonna lie. When they had the CGI on proper mode, the way they did that Evil Dead, bro, was way more fire than the one they just released, or the one
the
they
2013 one, Fede Alvarez's. Yes, that one is amazing. Where the girl is on the heroin.
Yeah, so okay, yeah. It was
Dog.
bro. That shit to me, it was on how they mastered the CGI for that particular. It was like if Sam Raimi and them had that for the first one. That's how they would have made it. It was just so. It wasn't like we playing with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't making it campy at all. This shit, you're like, listen, this shit is not gonna be. That's what the thing is. Is how you can touch people's nerves, or
It's a very disnerving movie to watch for the first time.
It's very disnerving, bro.
Especially if you're not accustomed to that type of horror and you go into it, you know, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna watch this Evil Dead, thinking you're gonna get the old Evil Dead that's comedy related, you know.
Right. Because
and then it's not.
more. And you know what? And that was the I think when you rolling dice, and it's like, I'm putting a big risk out.
Mm-hmm.
They knew, because the way Sam Raimi did had the comedic part about it. They didn't have that in that version, and it made it
brutal.
It was brutal. Like
brutal.
You can't do that with a Terrifier, because Terrifier has to have the comedic twist to it. Otherwise, it don't exist.
Yeah.
You know,
I
or
agree.
it don't have the same power that it has. It has to, because it's got to be lighthearted. Some of the gore is so gory that you have to have some lighthearted shit to balance that shit off.
Yep, exactly. 100%.
That's one of the best remakes in history.
Sell it to the masses. You know what I'm saying? Or to sell it to the masses. If you're trying to sell it to the masses.
I agree with Ill Fortune. That is one of the best remakes ever.
Bro.
I see too many fail. Too many try to remake a movie and fucking fail. But that one.
Yeah. I was like, okay, you know how it ended the second one. We was on tour, we watched it, we took the squad up, banged it out. We go, woo. We go over there, we watch the shit, and we're like, all of us was like, holy shit, I have to go piss, because I'm old. So I go, I had to go use the bathroom and miss the last scene. So I had to catch the last scene when I got, when it got on, online and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I caught it. And then how they start the new one off and go into it and everything. Man, shout out to all those guys.
Did you hear that?
Put that together for the third one. The third is not too many records, or not records, films, or we could say that had that kind of impact at the third one, like Saw.
Yeah.
What are those? They had the multiple, multiple shits, and it's like Saw. You could pick some shit that you're like, I don't know. Hellraiser, I don't know about Hellraiser
3.
4.
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't know, and now they create new Cenobites that wasn't Cenobites. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, during the longevity of it, they start to kind of lose what made them in the original.
What is so epic? Yeah.
I think what I understand is like with Evil Dead, it still has that, even with the newest, and they just signed up to do 2 more.
They had to go back to the dirt, but they had to do it in a modern state of mind. But they had to. It's almost like when I heard. I mean, this is gonna be the weirdest comparison I ever used. Is our analogy. But Kanye West, to me, when he was doing dirty ass hip hop back in the day for Jay-Z and all that, and it worked then. When he started branching off, he started doing hip hop, but it was clean. The beats was clean, all that shit. Like the samples was clean, but it still sounded good. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, it modernized and got cleaned up for a modern audience, but still works.
Exactly.
Yep, I get you.
That's what I'm saying about these films. Is like, if you're gonna do something to, get us, like we old heads, so you got to do a little bit more to attract us to watch the whole. I'm very ADD, bro. I never was diagnosed, but I know I am now. But to get me to watch a movie right now and sit through the whole motherfucker, you got to be good.
Yep.
You gotta be good, bro. You
gotta keep my attention.
Yeah. And if the shit is like grainy, it better be a great storyline in 10 minutes. Cause I'm to the next thing.
Yep.
I'm always looking for inspiration.
See, we got high standards too, and we always talk about how rare it is to find a really good horror movie, especially nowadays.
Did you see Daddy's Head?
Which one?
Daddy's Head.
That's on my list. That's on my list. Is it good?
Go do that one.
I'll put it on mine. Okay, word.
Yep.
That one. Daddy's Head is different. I just no. Fuck. I've watched Baghead also, where
I've heard of
I
that
like the
one.
effects of Baghead.
Baghead was
enjoyed
fire,
that.
bro. Those effects are fire.
Mhm.
I actually, I mean, I just watched some shit called Spin the Bottle, which was
All right,
I'm
it's
like-
one of them teen movies, those teen horrors.
put into the sexual thing, but it really isn't like that. And so I thought how they, I don't know, it's cool. There's some of these shits they put out, I'm thinking like, that shit's not that great. And it's way more hype on it. And it's like, I don't know.
The ones
But-
that are overhyped are always the worst ones I've
Although
noticed.
always the worst, bro. Always the worst. What is the last thing you guys, or what would you suggest me to watch? Because I watch these things daily. Like,
When
for
Evil
inspiration
Lurks.
even to write.
Yes, When Evil Lurks.
Mutual
When
recommendation.
Evil Lurks.
Yes, you need to watch it.
It's from Argentina. It is
Okay.
fucking insane, bro.
Oh,
Evil
Okay.
Dead style insane.
It came out earlier this
Oh,
year, and we
okay.
actually reviewed it on like the second
that shit
episode.
fuck down. You said When Evil Lurks. Hold up. Now
Yeah.
work. Now I got the little, some like the I ain't gonna go on here. I got the hookup on a site I can go to and grab the shit. But
Yes.
if that shit is like on like Prime or any of the apps, is it on one of those as
I don't-
well? Or is
Hey,
that just
I do it just like you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I got a site too, so.
I'm gonna look it
Okay,
up right
so
now.
When Evil Lurks. That's what.
Yep.
Okay, I'm writing it down right now as we speak.
It was
Trust.
great.
It
Yup.
is on Shudder and Hulu at this time.
So I have Shutter at home. I have
There you
Shudder.
go. There you go. Yes. Watch it, bro.
Keep in mind, it
Okay.
is. I think it was made in South America, so it's gonna be subtitled. It's not in
yeah,
American.
Argentina, but
but
it's
it's worth
worth
it.
every second.
Yes,
Okay,
you will be
okay.
shocked and caught off guard, and you will be like, your jaw might drop a little bit. Mine fucking did, and that's very rare for that shit
The
to happen.
effects in it are over the top amazing. You're like, what?
Mhm.
Let me ask y'all this, because we all know there's levels to or different types of horror that psychological, gore, over the top, campy, comedy, all these different types of horror. What is y'all's favorite to actually, like, what moves the needle for you? What makes you like, oh shit, I gotta watch that type shit? And I'm gonna tell you guys something I just watched yesterday. I forgot. It just dawned on me. Now I got it. It ain't horror. It's more. It's some serial killer shit, but it's really fucking. It's Quentin Tarantino-ish. How they
Ooh, like
maneuver
Grindhouse style?
chapters. It's called Strange Darling.
I've heard of it.
Bro,
I'm writing it down.
Put your eyeballs on that one.
Strange
I promise
Darling. Okay, we got two of them now.
Strange Darling. I promise you will not be mad. All the
word.
way to the very end, it is fun, bro. It's thoroughly unhinged. I
Yes.
love that.
So,
Man.
to answer your question as briefly as I can, for me, I love 80s campy, grainy, nostalgic, like 80s horror movies. So it's
Okay,
either
okay.
I revolve towards that, or when it comes to if I'm trying to actually be impressed, like you were saying, I go for that pushing practical effects to the next level, like no CGI, using all practical effects and having it be
Okay,
so
okay.
convincing that you're just like, you want to close your eyes, which is very
Right.
rare to see that.
You don't want to feel like I know you're visually fucking with me. I want
Yeah.
you to make me feel like this shit is really cracking.
Like a magic trick almost. Like how did they do that type of thing?
Yep. See, for me, there's two. I love movies that take place at campgrounds, sleepaway camp.
Okay.
The Burning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. got you.
I love them. I fucking love
Yeah, I
them.
love 'em.
And I love splatter films, over the top, like Dead Alive. That are just fucking, just unbelievable amounts of gore and blood. Where you're like, okay, but it's funny and it's, just a fun ride. That's what does it for me. And practical effects, a good
Right.
monster or something, like the Thing, like anything
Oh.
that follows the Thing
Yes.
in that category, I am sold.
Man,
Yeah.
I feel like those type of filmmakers don't get the chance to exist anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
You don't hear things like movies like The Thing.
Nobody wants to take a risk anymore. That's the
The
problem.
Black Lagoon, the creatures lurking in the Black Lagoon. You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're not doing any of those type of. Yeah, he's right. The money,
You know?
I guess, is not there, or the finances or the budgets, where people could take that risk and create a classic.
Exactly. That's why it's up to independent filmmakers out here to really move the needle, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and there are some doing it, and it's almost like with the music, it's just really underground. So it's like you got to get the recommendation,
Yeah,
word
you
of
gotta
mouth.
you gotta dig in the crates.
Yep. Word to
Yep.
mouth.
Gotta dig in the crates. Gotta go through them
You gotta find the
those
sample.
record stores, or you gotta do that shit. That's what I did.
Mhm.
That's what I
Well,
did.
Yeah, I try not to
It's
buy
beautiful.
into the media hype. If a homie tells me something is good to check out, then that's where I'm gonna get my next recommendation from. But if
no question. I'm at least check it out.
if Facebook
First
is
through a
telling
homie-
me this
through a
movie's the
homie's,
best,
suggestion.
yeah, Facebook was hyping up Long Legs this whole year, and then
Oh.
we both went and saw it, and we personally absolutely hated that movie, and they were saying it was the best
Oh
movie.
wow.
of the year.
Okay.
Yep.
I
Not
watched-
for me.
I watched it.
Yeah, it's 50-50. We noticed that like it's either you really love it or you really hate it. I don't know too many people that are in the middle, but
I didn't love it all that well. It got some. I think when it got towards more of the hell saving shit, I was like,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
way cooler when it was just like Silence of the Lambs serial killers. And then
now,
it did, what the
now all of a
fuck?
sudden, we got the spirits of the demon inside the fucking dolls, and dolls look
Nah.
like this, and it's turning.
It's
I'm like,
confusing.
Long Legs went extra left. It just went extra left, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, if you gonna write in between a borderline, that's fine. You're gonna be safe. You're gonna venture and create. That's cool when you're doing your art. That shit went from, okay, this is a murder mystery disguising to be horror, and then all of a sudden it gets to the fuckery. Oh, now it's the Long Legs that created these dolls and put the spirit of the demon. I mean, it was just too easy to fuck it up. And they fucked it up.
Yeah.
It was just
Yup.
too easy to fuck it up. And that's
Yeah.
the part I didn't like about it. Now, was it a good watch? Yeah. I didn't feel like I wasted my time. I'll say that. I didn't feel like it.
Fair
'Cause
enough. Fair enough.
I've wasted my time on some shit. Closer.
As a part of being a horror fan, you will waste plenty of hours on
Plenty of
shit.
hours. Yeah, bro.
Mhm.
You will get kicked out
Yep.
of your wife's anything. You wasted all that time watching nothing ass shit. And
You
you
got-
could have go get a fucking burger.
You got another question there, Il?
Yeah, so actually I'm curious. So we talked about favorites a lot. For you, is there like one specific movie that maybe like a comfort horror movie that you go to for like solace, that you just watch on repeat, or you've seen it so many fucking times, never getting sick of it?
Never get sick of it. The Event Horizon.
Oh shit. Didn't expect that. Okay.
What a great
Alright.
fucking film.
One of my ones. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Word. Yeah, we
No
all
matter
have
what.
those, it's
We all have those. That's one of them for me.
I fucking love that movie, dude.
It caused me to write deeply into the shit I write is because of the mentality of what it was taking,
And see, piggybacking off of that, my question I was going to kick to you is, does horror movies inspire your writing process?
Again, there's a percentage. I might, because I've been doing in certain topics, a lot of people say, oh, insane poetry is pigeonholed into horrorcore.
Uh-huh.
And that when people say that, I really know they never listen to my catalog. at all.
Facts. They don't
At all.
know the, they don't know the
degrees.
depth.
They don't even know it. So I don't pay attention. What I will say though, is it does have a percentage of an influence because we all inspired by a topic when we're creating. When we're breaking down, it's like you gotta break a cocaine. You gotta break that shit down, and to make your absolute money, you still gotta break that shit down. So with a topic, I have to do the same thing with a topic. I have to see where the music is going, how the topic of such things is, how do I break it down so it's palatable? It's very different, man, when you are such a guy who likes to be super lyrical, and God don't move the needle sometimes.
I feel your pain, brother. I know.
And you know what I'm talking about, man.
I do, 100%.
Being extra dope don't mean you're extra dope. It means you're just really good at your skill set.
Yep.
Excuse me. A couple of artists I've been around showed me that simplicity or watering down might not be something a lyricist would want to do. But if you grew up listening to music, you came out the fallopian tube of music. Or if you came out a horror movie or in we all are cousins. Like my topics, all that stuff I'm part of that. So I tend to wanna not I like to get to the etymology of the shit. I want to get to the origin and see where it grew to, what it's become, and all that. Horror has so many different branches off this thick ass tree that's been forever called horror.
Yep.
And we got campy, all these things, and we can relate it to music, entertainment, everything that we put together to do for this genre. One, we're gonna get shut for real. You got to be cool with that. You got to be cool. You've got to be cool with not everybody gonna fuck with you. They rather have a motherfucker say, I don't want to fuck with Enokh shit because his shit sound like 666 music. Yeah, but they'll turn around and watch Terrifier. Then while watching Terrifier, they're bumping K-Flock. Or King Von or Lil Durk. All these dudes that in my culture tell me I'm raising the devil. Yeah. Because your son or your little man, go to church on a Sunday, but he's sliding on Monday, and you're going to tell me you're on live talking about I'm a demon. You ain't going to believe it?
Facts.
But we the bad guys.
Yep.
I wait till that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. So we live in an obscure culture. So people who I know really love horror, that really know and really love it, not just hopping on the shit for a moment, they understand what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. Facts.
I mean, when you're in a genre like this.
I didn't mean to go around in a whole ass weird ass circle, bro.
No, that was some real shit.
No, for real, that's something that needed to be said, and we appreciate you for taking this platform and saying it, because that is true. We're looked at and demonized and painted like we are these horrible people, but in real life, we're the most kind, nice, genuine people you'll ever meet. Horror has some of the most genuine people.
We are. It's like in battle rap. Battle rappers, 90% of them are homies. The Atrix is who is the best at it's a sport. I play basketball. I play football. It's like, that's my dog on the other side. But once the fucking buzzer go up and the ball is tossed up in the air for basketball, homie, I'm trying to destroy you and your squad, fool. We can go have drinks afterwards. We can smoke and do all that. But in competition, it's just competition. You leave it on the court.
Facts.
100%. In music and anything you do, why do you think these businesses all have the same kind of thing? KFC is Church's Chicken is Popeyes. They all kind of do the same shit. One just saying they're better than the other. You know what the fucking winner is? The person who knows it's subjective to the taste buds of the individual who tasted all three of those.
It's also subjective to my wallet.
Facts, because I got shit at home and I can doctor up some fuckery.
Yep.
I can doctor up some fuckery. Don't let me get $1 ramen. That shit gonna look like it's 20. Oh, you spent 20 on that, huh? Nope. It looked like it though.
Good cook-up.
Oh shit, wait on. Before we go,
Yes.
I'm gonna ask y'all one question.
Yes.
Did you see the M. Night Shyamalan with Josh Hartnett in
Trap?
Trapped?
Yes, I did. Yep.
No, I have not.
Okay. What'd you think?
I thought it was better than most M. Night Shyamalan movies.
M. Night Shyamalan always makes me feel like either I'm stupid or he's just doesn't hit the mark.
Yep.
I like Signs.
Signs
I
is
like
good.
Signs.
Sixth Sense. I like that.
Sixth Sense. He has a few, but I'm not gonna front. I like Trent.
Is that a newer one?
I think he
Yep,
escaped
that's
too
his
much.
newest.
It was getting kind of cornball a little bit,
Yeah.
but they made it to where you can do another one. They made it.
Does he do sequels?
ain't
I
gonna
don't
be
think
mad.
he does sequels. I've never seen an
I
M. Night
like
Shyamalan
Josh
sequel.
Hartnett. I think he did a great job.
Oh yeah. He played the part very well. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen Josh do shit in quite a while actually, but I thought it was, it's like you acting on impulse, and they try to make it really, try to commercialize it with all the, the R&B, the concert shit and all that, and then taking my daughter to that, I get the concept. It was how he was pretending that how he acted that role. I like how he handled that.
Yeah. He did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
He played the psychopath perfectly.
Well, there you go. A little review of the new movie Trap by M. Night Shyamalan by Insane Poetry. Hell yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, there you guys have it. This has been episode number 8 of the Rotten Rewind with Ill Fortune and my co-host,
Enokh Xmortiz.
Catch us next time on the Rotten Rewind, where we will rewind your mind. Something like that. I don't know.
Stay rotten.
Yeah.